Next one's from Giant Farut. The subject is now what? For a long time, the biggest possible match in AEW was Kenny Omega versus CM Punk. As far as I know, it's never happened before. And it really was, as gross as it is to say, an IWC dream match. Now, of course, Punk is out of AEW. My question is, what is AEW's newest, biggest possible match? For real, is there anything they could do that hasn't been done before? I'm not trying to be a hater, but right now I think AEW comes to fresh matchups. P.S. What was the point of AEW doing all that Jarrett versus Grado stuff to promote All In the UK if the plan was never for them to have a match? Tony Khan seems like a dunce. I got a question for you, Joe. Look this up. Is Wardlow
Yep.
hurt right now? Because he hasn't been on. He's disappeared too. Like I haven't. When was the last time we saw Wardlow? Because he's the guy that could be, elevated and in the mix and stuff. I don't know. They don't, bro. There's not. AEW has done nothing that compels me. Except a couple of the things like I'm entertained by MJF, his character and his performance, but like I'm not interested in him wrestling Ring of Honor tag team matches. I mean, who would be? It's like I don't. That's kind of. I don't know. What do you think about that, Cody? Like he's in like the Ring of Honor tag team picture now. MJF.
Who?
MJF.
No, but he's still the world champion too.
I know, but it's like, but he's a
Yeah, I
world
don't know.
champion.
That was totally
And now-
unnecessary. It was almost like giving Moxley that title, the All Atlantic or whatever it's called,
Right.
international. Does he need that title? No. Yeah, bro. You're saying that Tony's a dunce for bringing in Grado. Well, that's called the feel good moment. Just like when this girl won her title in England, that's a feel good moment. Just like when they would when they went to Vegas and they brought Sabu in because Sabu lives in Vegas, or when they would bring Glenn into Impact to wrestle against the women because they were in Vegas. It's like you take advantage of who lives there, and it's feel good moment.
Actually, I did the thing with what's the name? Philly. I went to.
Yeah, Billy too.
I drew big numbers. That's the one thing that people forget. I actually drew numbers when I went to Impact. All right, so let's just put. Oh, by the way, I'm not even going to open this email. We're going to read it when he does the Mexican Minute or the Mexican Wrestling segment on the show. But you want me to read the title of the email, Conan? I'm not going to open the email and read it. I'm going to let this guy. Here's the title of the email. Is Larry Dallas a mindless simpleton? Wow. Should we allow Larry, allow him to be here to read the email to him, or should we read it now and then read it to him later?
Yeah, read it to him. Read it however you want.
Let's read it to him later. I'm going to, because I want to, yeah. Okay, next one's from Power Requires Hustle. Oh, this is King Cold.
Oh, King Cold, yeah.
What's up, King Cold? Subject is Goodbye Phil. Friend of the show, King Cold the rapper here. Disco says 4 minutes ago, CM Punk has been let go from AEW just days before AEW appears in Chicago. It's just a horrible move for the company. Blah blah. But we already talked about this. Conan, I know lots of fans are upset from a Booker's perspective. What the actual Tony thinking? Also, Joe, who in the AEW locker room can step up, take the spot Punk had on the card, and all of you, is this going to drastically hurt AEW attendance and cable viewership numbers? It's not going to help. It didn't help Collision, but bro, the biggest thing that's going to hurt Collision is when, like this past weekend. What did they do, Joe? I think they barely did 400,000.
Oh yeah, it was.
Bro, you're up against college football and WWE pay per view, bro. And that happens once. That happens like it's going to happen like another 4 times. Going forward. The next during the fall. So, but the college football numbers are going to be crazy. I can't wait to talk sports this week too with the Dion thing. That was unbelievable. Yeah, we already talked about this, Cold. So you'll hear the Punk discussion probably read in the YouTube. Next one is from. Read like a couple more, and I gotta go. Okay. Mm-hmm. I didn't, bro. I read the show. Okay, I didn't watch Collision. I read the English. I had no idea what they were talking about here. So this one's from Renegade Man 83. The subject is Mike Santana solo run. Hey guys, hope all is well with you. My question is for Conan. We just witnessed the return of Santana to AEW. My question is, do you think Santana's return is to prepare himself to move away from Ortiz and have a solo run? He added a first name and has his own Titan shrine himself in his return. Wonder if that's a plan going forward. I know that he was aching in the past for his AEW contract to run out, maybe go to WWE. It's great that Santana and Ortiz have made amends, and as a team, they are magical together. They just have great chemistry, and it's a shame they haven't had a tag team title run together yet. If Santana does go for a solo run, I'm afraid it leaves Ortiz's loss on the cards. I'm just wondering if you talked to your boys lately and if they had any plans going forward where they team together or go on their own. Now, when I was reading the Collision report, I had no idea who Mike Santana was. And I had to read through it, and then at the end, I'm like, oh, I guess that's Santana. And he added Mike, because I've always just known them as Santana and Ortiz.
Right.
I couldn't even tell you the guy's first names. I guess Mike is his first name. What's
Yeah.
Ortiz's?
So what happened was is when
Answer that question first. What is Ortiz's first name?
I don't. What it? Can you look it up, Joe?
Angel or
Look that up. That's hysterical. He's like a friend of yours. You don't even know his first name. So.
Yeah, because I just call him Ortiz.
Right.
So, I'm more into one name. One name.
Right.
So when I met them, he was Mike Santana, and I go, the Mike doesn't sound really Latino to me. So just call yourself Santana.
It'd be Miguel Santana.
Right. So I just said, call yourself Santana. And Ortiz, is that his name, Ortiz? I might have just said the same thing for him too, Joe.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Angel
Ortiz?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's his name?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Sounds
so
like
I've just probably
for the Anaheim Angels, right?
And then they had the girl, I forgot what her name was, and I gave her the name Diamante, which means diamond.
Right.
And that was LAX. But yeah, it doesn't look like they're going to be working together, which is a shame. I think Mike Santana wants to go solo, and that's what they're doing. Good luck in that. Good luck with that, because there's so many other people that are not even taken care of. So.
All right, next one's from Carlos Hernandez, subject is women's wrestling. Hello, Conan, Joe, and Disco. Carlos Hernandez from LA here, hoping you're all doing well. Trend with me is that every time I tune to Raw or SmackDown, to my surprise, hang on a minute. Hey, I'm podcast. I can't talk. A trend with me is every time I tune to Raw or SmackDown, to my surprise, it's either commercial or women's match. I usually turn off the TV after that. How would you present the woman going forward? Made a comment in the K100 Discord about how the women should be part-timers. I know it won't happen, but I personally would not riot if there were less women's segments. Do you think changing the presentation of the women on the show and how often they appear would help? Do you think it would cause an outrage amongst fans and female wrestlers? Can't really think of the last time I really enjoyed any type of women's feud. Not saying I'm not a fan of any of the women's wrestlers. However, the ones I do like rarely, if ever, interact with each other. Not trying to start any heat, but I feel it's a conversation that many people want to have. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Stay safe and blessed, my friends. But we have this thought we talk about this every week on Raw, Carlos. Don't you listen to the reviews? Like, here's a funny thing. The women still get good numbers. And they're in the lamest angles. But I think that's a credit to the way they present themselves on TV. It's like, when you see a hot, attractive girl dressed like $1 million, it's hard to change the channel. And I think that kind of hurts the show, because you watch a segment and you like the girls, you're attracted to them, they look good, but the storylines are very lame, and I think that's a thing that's kind of maybe like the one thing that you could point to in WWE right now that needs to be corrected, because they do still draw decent numbers. Would you agree with that, Conan?
I just think the biggest problem is in creative. They're not presented with the good storylines that men are, and that hurts them, because some of them go out there and they give some good performances. But if you're not in a good storyline, you're not cutting good promos, it's not interesting, and they're not interesting. Yeah, they're hot and they're athletic and they can go, but they're not giving them the same considerations or time or respect or whatever the word would be that they're giving the men. That's for sure.
Perfect example. You great example here too. How we always get heat for saying like Iyo Sky has no charisma stuff. Bro, a lot of these girls, a lot of the girls on that show, you ask them what their characters are, and it's like, I don't know. It's like Raquel Rodriguez. Okay, she's big and she's smart, but
she does have a lap pose. You forgot that.
Right, I'm saying. But I will say this, and a girl like this, and like they were getting over. Chelsea Green.
Right.
She's a Karen. Okay,
Right.
and she does that. So she's like doing good TV, and you're watching it, and it's like
And you
this
understand
isn't
what
well
she's
defined.
doing. Right.
You
Right.
understand what she's doing. So well
Yeah.
defined character. So many of the other girls in the show, they just come out and cut promos on
Right.
each other. You know, and it's just
Right.
like, okay, there's nothing there, but like, yeah, it's like,
Right. Like when
that's
with
what
Charlotte Flair, when did she turn back the baby face and why and
Right.
how and and to me she's a better heel.
Yeah, she's Ric Flair's daughter. She's the dirtiest.
Right.
She should be the dirtiest player in the game.
Right.
She should be like J.R. Ewing. If she's nice for 2 weeks, that's 2 weeks of her being nice. She's cutthroat the rest of the time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like, I don't know, but they have her try to be a baby face and cutting
She's
the
a
baby face.
great heel. Why take her out of that role?
Right.